Hi guys, my name is Dory and today I'm going to talk about the 10 essential items that you need to bring with you on a hike. It doesn't matter whether you're going on a day hike, an overnight hike or a longer hike. These 10 essential items will make sure that you will increase your chances of survival, but it will also make your hike more comfortable knowing that you can survive if you need to. So these items can actually be divided into systems. Depending on the circumstances of your hike, you can use different items for each category or each system. And it's just a list to remind you that you need these things to survive if something happens. I am here in Whiteman Park in Perth and I've seen so many kangaroos already today. I really hope you can see some hopping behind me. The first thing you need to bring with you is something to navigate with. Okay, so you always need to have a map and a compass, but also if you can bring a GPS with you, because a GPS will pinpoint your location very accurately if you do get lost, or if you don't know where you are, or if you want to follow a route which is not signposted, let's say. If you then also download a GPX file, which I will talk about in another video, then you can just see how far you are off trail and where you are on the trail as well. But remember, if you're relying on a GPS or on your phone, just make sure your phone has enough battery to last you for the duration of your hike. And I strongly suggest you bring a map and a compass regardless whether you're using your phone or not. Then something you also need to know is, well, how to use it. So I will put some links in the description below and that you can check out on how to use a map and a compass. And I will probably do a video in the future on that as well. But for now, definitely check out the links in the description, okay? It's very important that if you do have some gear in your backpack that you know how to use it. Otherwise, it's dead weight, honestly. Sometimes they do workshops as well. Definitely comment in the section below if you know of any workshops in your area. It's always good to be able to link those workshops to people that need it. The second thing you definitely need to bring, and this is a must for me, is always carry extra water with you, because you never know if you're gonna hike longer than expected. So if you're going on a day hike, that means that you have to carry plenty of water for the duration of your hike and a little bit extra, okay? So always carry like a liter extra, that's what I would do. But then again, I have some personal stories to tell you about that, because I once got into the hospital because of dehydration, and honestly that was not the best fun I had in my life. So if you're going on an overnight hike or a longer hike, then it's a good idea to always study the map of the trail that you're going to and know where your water sources are. So in that case, you know how long you have to go without water and where to find the next water source. Now with that comes as well, I would suggest to always bring a water filter with you or something to filter your water. I always use those water purification tablets, but you can use any type of water filter like a Sawyer Squeeze or anything, okay? I'll put a few links in the description below so then you can check it out and find a system that you enjoy using. So the next thing you need to bring with you if you're going on a hike is obviously some extra food. I would advise to always bring some extra food with you, even if you're going on a day hike. And if I would go on a day hike, I will always bring some extra trail mix with me, or some power bars, or even some fruits. It depends what mood I'm in, but I will always make sure that I have enough for a lunch in case that my hike takes longer than expected, or in case I just see something beautiful and I just want to stay. If you're going on an overnight hike or a longer hike, I would suggest to always bring an extra dinner with you. And at least if your hike takes a day longer or something like that, or even if you get lost, you know that you have plenty of food to last you a little bit longer. You never know, you might get injured on the trail and you might be stuck in a hut or on a campsite for 2 days, and then at least you've got some extra food. Besides water and food, you also always need to bring an extra layer with you as well, because the weather can be very unpredictable, guys. So you always need to make sure that you have something to keep you warm, just in case the weather changes, or if it's getting cold all of a sudden, or imagine if you get lost and you need to spend the night. At least then you have something warm to put on if you do get cold. I always bring an extra pair of socks with me, because you never know, it might get really wet, or you might have to cross a creek and then your feet are wet, and there's nothing worse than having wet feet. Something that is often overlooked is sun protection. So I'm here in Australia and we should all know that the sun is a silent killer. Now it's very important to put sunscreen on, to bring sunscreen with you, even if it's just a small tube, and also to bring your sunglasses and a hat. But also, especially for Australia, try and have some UV protective clothing so then you can protect yourself from the sun. Alright, I think this is fairly straightforward, but a lot of people don't think about the sun when they're going on a hike because most of the time you're in the forest. But even if it's overcast, you can still get burned. The next thing I need to talk about is I would advise to always bring a torch or a headlamp with you because it's very, it's very lightweight, it's very small to put in your backpack, but if you get stuck and it gets dark, at least you know where you're going and at least you can find your way back to the car or wherever it is you're going, but you need to see something in the dark. Alright, some people think, oh yeah, I can let my eyes adjust in the dark, but honestly, I wouldn't count on it. I would rather have one of these, and you never know what's in the bush. It can also help you just to feel, it can help you feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more safe, even though it's just a false sense of security, whatever. But I would advise you to bring a headlamp. So another thing you always need to have with you, and it's very small, it's something to start a fire, okay? Whether it's a lighter or some waterproof matches, just always think about your circumstances as well. If you're in an environment where it rains a lot, then I would definitely advise to bring a storm lighter because they will be a little bit more windproof and waterproof. It's a little bit more heavy, but at least I know that I'm gonna be able to start a fire when I need to. But I would also advise you to bring something with you that is an easy fire starter, such as some cotton pads. Fire is not only good for deterring animals, for keeping you warm at night, but also will help search and rescue to find you a lot easier than when you don't have a fire. Alright guys, something that is also very important but often overlooked is a repair kit. So let's say you're going on an overnight hike and you bring your sleeping bag with you or a tent, and you need to have the gear with you to repair your sleeping bag, to repair your tent. But even if you have a hole in your jacket or something like that, it's always nice to know that you can repair it on the spot, and it will make your hike a lot more comfortable. What I suggest you would do is always bring a knife or a multi-tool like a Swiss Army knife or something, some duct tape, a needle with some thread, and some kind of repair patches that come with your tent or sleeping pad. When we're talking about the 10 essential items to take with you on your hike, something that is very important is a first aid kit, okay? Oh my god, I thought there was a kangaroo behind me. I timed it so well, guys. Alright, whether it's just a few band-aids or a comprehensive survival first aid kit, it's always important to be able to treat basic injuries. And with that comes also, you need to know how to use your first aid kit. I would strongly suggest you do a first aid course, especially when you're in the bush. If you know first aid, then you can help other people, but you can also help yourself. Your first aid kit should always include some basic foot care, such as care for blisters, some band-aids or something like that, but also some Vaseline, some ointment cream, a pair of tweezers to remove ticks, some disinfectant wipes, and also something to treat a wound with. Now, if you're going hiking in an area where there is wildlife that can either sting you, bite you, or something like that, you need to also know how to treat those bites and stings. The last thing I want to talk about is having an emergency shelter. Okay, so when you're going on a day hike, you don't really expect to spend the night or something like that. But something that I always bring is an emergency blanket. And it's really lightweight, as you can see. It doesn't take up much space, but in an emergency, this can be like my insulated layer or an extra layer of warmth. And it can also act as a shelter, like as a tarp, whatever. You put 2 holes in it, you make like a little tarp. Worst case scenario, this will help me spend the night more comfortable, but also will increase my chances of survival because it will give me that extra warmth. Of course, it's always advisable to bring a tent if you're going on an overnight hike, and this emergency blanket is just the worst case scenario. If you go to an area where you're new or you haven't done a hike before, just always make sure that you have enough stuff with you that will help you survive if you need to. So this is another serious video, but I'm gonna do like a series of fun videos as well, don't worry. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Alright guys, we're gonna have a look for kangaroos, and hopefully we'll find some. Woo. get bitten by a snake or a spider if you're hiking in those areas and blah 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 and it's so windy. Please, 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 please stop, 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 stop. There are certain things that you can do to get found easier, but anyway, I just thought about it. I might do another video about that, but yeah, I have so many videos already scheduled. This is ridiculous! Ah! Where was I? I don't know. What? It was probably not the best day to plan a video shoot, but yeah, I had no choice. Oh my god, there's a kangaroo. Oh my god, that was so cool. Alright, I'll get him on the way back.